God is going to show people who you really are, family. Welcome into today's broadcast of You Are Enough, and I'm your host, Prophetess Nikki. You don't have to prove to people who you are. God is going to do that for you. And some of the most difficult seasons of our life are going to come from people who dropped us. When you really needed somebody, they probably dropped you, didn't they? When you thought they were going to be there for you, they forsook you, didn't they? You'll have a story just like Joseph, some of you. But God does his greatest work in you when you go through your toughest battles, when you go through your toughest storms. God is really refining you, and God is the one that's going to show people who you really are. You don't have to do that. God said, I'm going to show them where you are in your life now. God said, I'm going to show people who you really are. They got a taste of you a little bit. God gave them a little sneak peek of who you were, not 100%, just enough to sear their conscience when he's standing you up in the midst of all your enemies. You can be in the midst of all your enemies and you're never going to be harmed. And it doesn't matter what scorpion, it doesn't matter what poisonous enemy that gets close to you, it's not going to destroy you. God made you. And when he made you, he equipped you for everything that will come against your life. God said, I'm going to prove to people who you are. God said, I'm going to show people who they had walking with them. I think one of the most difficult things whenever you're walking in a season of isolation, when God has you in that quiet place where it's just you and him, it's a difficult place to be in because God has you isolated. He has to speak to you, and God has to do a lot of inner work on the inside of you to heal you from these experiences so that you won't carry them over in the next season of your life. What you're going through with now, you're not going to carry that over in the next season of your life. You're not. God say, I'm going to be the one that's going to show people who you are. The same place that people drop you, that same place where people left you, the same place that people broke your heart and gave up on you, broke every vow and promise they ever made to you, that same place. This is the place that God is going to allow these people to see you elevating your life, that same place. And it's always the people that we pour into the most that betrays us. God said you don't have to prove anything. You just keep holding your head up. You keep walking. God said you keep holding your peace. He said, because this battle don't belong to you. This battle belongs to me. I got this. You just walk in faith and let me do the working. God said, let me do the talking. God said, let me do the revealing, because God is going to do it. God is going to show people who you are, family. If you're in this quiet season of your life, if you're in this period of your life where God has isolated you and where God is revealing to you the true heart and the motives of people, it's painful, but it's necessary. I want you to hashtag that. It's painful, but it's necessary. It's better that you know now than later. And when God shows you now, don't make an excuse for the treatment that people have given you. That's God showing you the heart of people. God said we should know the truth, and the truth will make us free. And we should know the people by the fruit that they bear. You want to know who people really are? Look at the fruit of their life. Look at how they treat you. That's how they feel about you. God said, I'm going to show people who you are, not you. You don't have to do it. You don't have to want to be successful to show people who you are. You don't have to do that. God said, I'm going to do it. You are the one that I'm going to use to show people what I can do. You are the one that God is going to use to show the world what he can mold, what he can reshape. He's the potter and you're the clay. God is reshaping you. He's remolding you. He's refashioning you to his image. And you are being purified through the fire. This is why you're in that tight place, that painful place. This is why you're in the fire. Because everything that can hinder your life, God said, I'm going to burn it up. God said, I'm going to get rid of it. People know they do to you, family, but I don't want you to focus on these things in this period of your life because your life is changing seasons. Just like there's a change of the guard, God is changing seasons in your life. And your seasons are going to change for the better. You got to go through something in order to get something. You want a testimony? You got to have some tests. You want happiness? You got to be able to go through some pain. But we don't go through it alone. It feels like it, doesn't it? But you're not. You're not alone. God is right there. You don't have to prove who you are, family. You don't have to justify who you are. All you need to do is hold your peace. Your silence is speaking. Your actions are speaking. People betrayed you. They left you. They dropped you. Maybe you were manipulated. Maybe you were deceived. But this is not what you're supposed to focus on. You need to focus on how you survived. You need to focus on how God brought you out of this. You need to focus on what didn't happen. You got to focus on what God didn't allow the enemy to do. Because what the enemy wanted to do, God said, not so. The devil is a liar. It'll never come nigh your dwelling place. The enemy meant it for your evil. But God said, I'm going to take everything you meant evil and I'm going to turn it around for the good of my child. The pain hurt. Those traumatic experiences hurt. But God said, I'm going to turn these things around for your good. I'm going to get the glory out of your life, not man. God said, I'm going to get the glory out of your life. This is why God will let you go through so much. Because you're being tested, you're being tried, and God is preparing you for what's up ahead. You got things that are ahead of you. There are things that you're going to experience up the road. So God has to equip you right now in the place that you're in. God said, I'm going to show people who you are. God said, I gave them a little sneak peek of who they had walking with them, but they disregarded you. They treated you less than because they judge you on the cosmetic part of you. They judge you from the outside. That's how man judge. God said, that's not how you're supposed to judge. God said, I judge the heart. See, they saw your heart, but they didn't judge you by your heart. They took advantage of your heart and they judged you by what they saw. Your exterior, they judge you by that. Your history, they made a mistake when they judged you that way because they have lost out. I want you to know you're the prize. People lose out when they mishandle you. You didn't lose anything. Your heart may be broken. Your spirit may be crushed. But God said, I'm going to draw nigh to those of you who are of a broken and of a contrite spirit. If your spirit has been crushed, if your emotions has been broken and crushed, you are in the right place. You are in the perfect position for God to come in, family, and sweep your life of all the residue. God is going to sweep your life of all the pain. He's going to sweep your life of all the trauma. He's going to prove to people who you are. He's going to prove to people how strong you are. He's going to prove to the world what he can do. Because God said, I'm going to take the foolish things of the world to confuse the wise. God's going to use your life to do it. God's going to use your life to be glorified. God is going to get the glory out of your pain. God is going to get the glory out of your suffering. He's going to get the glory out of your heartache. You are found faithful. We always have to be found faithful. God said if we're faithful over a few, he'll make us ruler over many. And we first must be faithful to that which pertains to another man. And we will get our own. Whatever you want. God said you got to be faithful to that which pertains to another man. And God said, do not compare yourself to other people. Because when we compare ourselves to other, God said we are doing so and we're unwise. God said it is me that's going to prove to people who you are, not you. You don't focus on trying to prove to people who you are. People see you. They have a clue that you're different. Embrace your difference. Even though people sometimes, not everybody, sometimes people will treat you indifferent. because you're different. When you have standards, when you have boundaries, when you have godly character, when you're a very integrous person, people are going to attack that. And that lets you know that you're doing something that's pleasing the Lord. Because if you weren't, the enemy wouldn't come for you. God said, I'm going to prove to people who you are. Just wait. I love all of you. Talk later. Bye bye.